Hi everyone, this is Michelle with Michelle's Canine Training, and today I'd like to talk to you about tools. Two of the main tools that we use are the prong collar and the e-collar, and I'd like to talk through why I feel like these are some of the best tools to use for your dog. So the first tool I'd like to talk about is the prong collar. This is a 2.25 millimeter prong collar, and the usual sizes for them come in either 14 inches or 16 inches. But for the most part, they are very, very flexible when it comes to sizing. Anytime you want to tighten it up, all you have to do is remove a link or several. And if you ever need to size it up more, you just add the links. One of the most important benefits of the prong collar is the fact that it provides equal pressure throughout the entire collar. Unlike the buckle collar, which is very, very common amongst dogs, and the thing is, it applies all of the pressure in the front, and eventually it could cause damage to the dog's trachea. Similar to one of the benefits of the e-collar, this tool is fantastic because it gives you a range of communication. You can use light pressure or you could use firm pressure, and it really just depends on how you use this in conjunction with a leash, and it could tell the dog a wide array of things. The prong collar is also extremely durable in that it is seawater resistant and it is made out of stainless steel, so it has rust-proof characteristics. One thing to keep in mind is that stainless steel is not suitable for nickel reactive dogs, so a good alternative would be to try the Kurrigan prong collar. Kurrigan is just a copper tin alloy with a high copper portion along with some additives, and it would achieve the same functionality just without having any stainless steel properties. Another thing that the prong collar is excellent for is that it allows you to provide directional guidance, because the e-collar is mainly a communication tool, but having the prong collar in association with a leash can allow you to guide the dog better in telling them what you want them to do, and the e-collar will be there to provide attention. All right, next up we have the e-collar. So here is the remote, and here is the collar. I specifically have been using the Educator, the ET400 by e-collar Technologies. I have been using this ever since I first found out about e-collars, and this is the only e-collar I've been using with Riley. It was the first one I ever purchased, and I have to say I really, really love this product. It has worked really well for me. There have been a few hiccups when the remote wouldn't charge, but the fact that it has a 1-year warranty from the company allowed me to get a really quick replacement, and then everything is solid. The company has been really, really great with customer service anytime I have ever needed anything. So all of my experience with them has been positive, and I do truly feel like this is an excellent tool. It has great features, and it also has additional bonus features that I feel like come in handy once in a while, but you don't necessarily use all the time. First off, let's talk through some of the things that it provides you. The ET400 has a 3/4 mile distance of range. The ET300, which is the smaller model, only has a range of 1/2 mile. There is a light feature that shows up over here when you tap the L button on the back side. It is also waterproof, so if you ever wanted to do water activities with your dog and keep them safe by having an e-collar handy, you can always do that without any worries. So normally when the collar is on, it will blink green. If the battery is starting to run low, it will blink red. When it's charging, it will be a solid red along with the remote when they're both plugged in. The e-collar also uses a lithium polymer battery, so ideally you want it to never completely die, and if it ever does, you should try to charge it as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you leave it for too long, it might cause irreversible damage. For maximum range on the e-collar, you want to hold it out away from your body as far as possible, and you want to try to keep the receiver up and out. All right, so let's run through some of the buttons that are available on the remote. There are 3 different modes that you can use. One is momentary, and on the screen it would show just an M. There is an M/C button on the back side, which allows you to switch between these modes. The next mode is C, which stands for continuous, which means that as long as you hold the button down, the stimulation will continue going out, and then it will cap out at 10 seconds, which is a safety feature it provides so you don't accidentally overstim your dog. And then the final mode is both M and C, which is considered the combo mode, and that affects how these buttons act, and I will go into that later. So the first mode is M for momentary. That means that if you press the black button, it will give out a stim of whatever number is on the LCD screen, and it will be just a brief sensation, just as you tap it, nothing further. The red button acts as a boost mode. So boost basically means you set a number that you want added to whatever number is on your screen. So for example, if my boost is 10, and right now the number is at 10, then it would end up stimming for 20. Now once we switch to continuous mode, the black button, as long as you hold it down, will stim for 10 until you release it or until it's over 10 seconds. The red button, similar to momentary, acts as a boost for continuous. So like I described before, if your boost is 10 and if your number on the screen is 10, it will stim for 20 as long as you hold it down. And lastly, if you go into combo mode, the black button works as momentary. The red button works as continuous. Both of these buttons will stim at the number shown on your screen. And then if you wanted to do a momentary boost, you would press the black button first, and while still holding it down, you press the red button. And then similarly, for a boost for continuous, you hold the red button down first, and while it's still being held down, you press the black button. There is also a locking mechanism, so if you press the knob down for a couple seconds, the number on your screen will flash, and afterwards, if you try to turn the knob, nothing will happen. And similarly, to unlock it, you do the same action. When it comes to the light mode, the L button on the back, you press it once, and it causes the collar to flash a white light with a set interval. And if you press it again, it's a steady white light. And then to turn it off, you just press it again. There is also a T button on the side for a vibration sensation. Admittedly, I don't really use this feature, but like I mentioned earlier, it's one of those added features that could be useful for certain people. I just personally have never found a use for it. When you want to turn the e-collar on or off, there is a red circle on the side right here, and there's also a red circle on the e-collar right here. All you have to do is join those together to turn it on or off. Usually at the beginning of the day, when I turn it on, I like to just give it a little tap, just to make sure that it's on and that the collar is working properly. So when you tap, there will be a red light that shows up every time, and that just confirms for me that I have it on and that it's good to go. There might be times where instead of charging it overnight, I leave it on and not realizing it's a habit for me to go like this every time in the morning. So I might accidentally turn it off. So I just like to do that as a little confirmation that it's going to be working throughout the day. Okay, so the great thing about the e-collar is its ability to have a variety of levels of stimulation to address any situation you have. So it started at 0, and it basically goes all the way up until 100. Similar to what I said about the prong collar, this makes this tool really handy because it becomes something that allows you to address a variety of situations. The thing is, when it comes to dog training, you want to keep your demeanor calm and collected. This tool allows you to whisper or shout at your dog, but your demeanor in person will remain the same. Now I'm going to just demonstrate how to set the boost. So first you have to have it set to momentary mode. Bring the dial down to 0, and then you hold the black button down. Eventually the number is going to start flashing and it will set itself to 1. So here we change what level we want it to be. So let's just say we want our boost to be 5. Press the black button again to save it. And now, since it is in momentary mode, this red button is now the boost. So all you have to do is press it to see. It becomes 10 now. Another thing out of personal experience that I would like to recommend is using a buckle like this. In the past, I have used a bungee, which is basically where it's a bit more of a stretchy material, and it does allow a little bit more leeway as it's sitting on the dog's neck. But I do personally like this better because I feel like an e-collar is best used if it is sitting firmly where you place it, and it should not budge too much. It should be sitting snugly, and you also want to have confidence that anytime you use it, it's going to be working as intended and that the dog will feel it. So I feel like with the bungee collar, it just allowed the collar to move way too much, and that's just not a good thing. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to the e-collar is that it should be sitting snugly against their neck. Not too tight, but it can't be too loose where it's easily moved around. Too tight and it can definitely cause skin irritation, but too loose is also bad because it will move around on their fur or skin and cause chafing, and similarly it will also be irritating for them and the tool won't be working as intended. Another thing to keep in mind is that you don't want it sitting on the same spot for too long throughout the day. Ideally, I would say after 3 to 4 hours, switch spots. The tool is meant to be placed along either side of their neck over here or over here. So after they've been wearing it for 3 to 4 hours over here, definitely switch sides because it should not be sitting on one location for too long. This applies pressure, so it could be uncomfortable for them. All right, I think that about sums up the features of the e-collar and the prong collar. I hope all of the information that I said today was helpful, and if you ever have any additional questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below and I will definitely answer any questions. If you found this video useful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.